You are now about to witness.
I feel like that's
It's both
50-50.
ways.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
both ways.
it's just like when, like the police to try to capture the drug dealers or whatever else. What about the people that's like keeping them in business? It's like a two-way street.
Yeah, they don't. They usually want the bigger person though. They don't want all the.
No, I understand they want the bigger person, but they're saying like, yeah, you're killing all these people. I'm like, well,
Oh, yeah,
these
yeah.
people want to do this because
Yeah.
they're going out and they're buying it because that's what they want to do.
they
Yeah,
gonna
so I'm
supply
saying like
it.
you're saying like this one drug dealer is killing everybody, but you have all the people that's buying from him that are willing participants in the activity.
Okay, yeah.
I mean,
That's why I said
you
you
could
cut
go
off the,
after the consumer to get to that guy.
right. So you
but
cut off the head of the snake and it just dies.
And the consumer just gonna find somebody else. There's somebody in charge for like it's
Right.
It's gonna keep on going though. You ain't gonna be able to get all of them.
Yeah, you might not get a head of the snake every time, but you're gonna cut them in half at least.
But I feel like if you go after the consumer, then it's like you stopping the money from where it's going.
Drugs. How many of us do them? Drugs. Ones we can smoke on. Drugs.
That shit was hard.
So the clip that I included in the beginning was from a podcast I like to check out called You Film Me TV. And in the latest episode, they was talking about, had a little segment talking about drugs and, kind of who's really to blame and how can we stop it? And I think there was somebody posted something that somebody's loved one was buying some kind of drug and it was laced with fentanyl and stuff like that. And they were making which is a good argument in my opinion, that you kind of have to expect that, like you're looking for integrity in the dope game. So there should be some honor there, absolutely. But you got to know we're dealing with people, and people can be evil. I mean, you got to think about it. I remember when I was a kid, they made a huge deal about trick or treating because there was people who was putting razor blades in Milky Ways and Snickers bars and Reese's cups and stuff like that. So you think doing something illegal and something like selling and doing drugs, people are not going to lace something with something and put something in something? Pause. But you kind of have to expect that. And they were just saying that it's blame on both sides. It's blame on the drug dealer and it's blame on the user. And it's funny to me because pretty much, you remember back in the day, especially like in the mid to late 80s, the president was talking about the war on drugs, right? War on drugs. That's a funny term. How do you have a war on something that you created and brought over here? Because a lot of people, especially during the Vietnam War, and I made a video about that, people was getting hooked on all kind of the opiates and stuff over there. They was spraying their own soldiers with Agent Orange and all that kind of stuff. So then how do you turn around and talk about the war on drugs? It has to be stopped. I got a little clip I want to play for y'all.
But there is no match for a united America, a determined America, an angry America. Our outrage against drugs unites us, brings us together behind this one plan of action, an assault on every front.
When I see that and I hear that, he says there is no match for a united America, an angry America, a determined America. See, when I hear that, there's no match for an angry, determined America, which is why I think they introduce a lot of the things that they introduce, like alcohol and drugs. Think about how clear-minded we would be as just human beings, as people, if we didn't have these things, right? You didn't have the distraction of alcohol and drugs. Like Andre 3000 said, no drugs or alcohol so I can get the signal clear as day. They don't want you to get the signal clear as day. They want you high, drunk, in this stupor where you don't think about things, where you just go on about life. And they don't want us unified. We don't even have to go back. Let's take the crack era and all that out of it. We can just go back about 5 years ago, late 2019 to early 2020. What was going on? The pandemic. When that happened, it was chaos. I mean, and then when they introduced the jab, it was the jabbed versus the unjabbed. The people who are for masks and people who are against masks. If people on Facebook, if you don't have the jab, you can just unfriend me. If you don't wear a mask, don't come around me and you can unfriend me. I don't care. Blah 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 blah. People were really getting mad at other people for a situation that they didn't even cause. Like, think about it. You get mad, right? Something happens in the world. You're just a person in the world. You're just a citizen of whatever country you're from. A national tragedy happens. A epidemic happens. You just going through life, right? We all have our mind. We all have our choice to make. Somebody gets mad at you for your choice when your choice is not endangering or impacting anybody else. But they get mad at you like you started all this nonsense. Ain't that something? Ain't that something? And side note, while we're talking about it, what's funny to me is women always talk about this my body, my choice mess. How come that wasn't applicable for the jab? It's my body. I don't want the jab. I don't get it. Well, it's gonna. Well, if you got the jab, you should be covered, right? So it sounds like you need to be taking something up with them white men, them lab coats. Because if you got the jab and you still scared, it means you probably don't really trust them. But let's get off of that. Let's get back to the drug, shall we? The truth of the matter is, it's not a snake. It's this invisible being. It's this ghost. We'll never be able to fight it. We can't call Ghostbusters can't help us. No, Ghostbusters cannot help us. It's an intangible thing that is here now. It's always going to be that way. One of the guy in the red hat, his name is Rel. He was saying that if you cut the snake heads off, if you keep cutting like the little mini bosses, if you keep cutting them heads off, eventually you'll get to the big snake. You'll find out where it's coming from. But in reality, that's not true. Because where it comes from is us, baby. Our government is in control of all of this. In control of it all. They allow it. Now, yeah, okay, they got the cops, yeah, okay, you see people doing it, selling it, intent to distribute and all this stuff. Yeah, lock them up because they got to give the illusion. Because one, like they can't tax it because it's illegal. How's that gonna look? You go to the store and get some heroin? No. So of course they got to keep up the illusion, but they're okay with all of this. All of this stuff they're okay with. Braille mentioned in the one part, he said that when people find out that you don't drink or do drugs, they look at you like you're strange. I don't drink, I don't do drugs. I've never been drunk, I've never been high a day in my life. And if I got something to say about it, which I do, I never will. I just don't see the point in it, right? Because remember the Andre 3000 bar I just spit at you, right? So I can get that signal clear as day. I don't need nothing clouding my mind. It's already clouded. You got to deal with other people's personalities, things that, other stuff in the world that can cloud your judgment. The last thing I need to do is do that to myself, you know? But that's how they want it. They want it to where the majority of people are on something. So they can control us because the more they got you up here, the more susceptible and easily led you'll be. Because if y'all think, people love to think, people that watch, people that make and talk about stuff that I talk about, they love to call us crackpots and conspiracy theorists and stuff like that. But if you really think, when people talk about they, them, and all that, it's just referring to the government, the media, and these people who we don't know their names that probably control these things they have in place. Because us as human beings, we're dynamos, bro. We move off energy. Everything we do It is energy, energetic. And I think a lot of people, I think a lot of those people, they feed off of our energy. They feed off of the fear that they monger. That's why they call it fear mongering. It's somebody is benefiting from all the fear and stuff, the energy that we're putting out. You know, they're not doing it for nothing. And then when we go out and we panic buy and do all this kind of stuff, stocks go up in certain companies. You know, going back to the scamdemic, when that happened, what was people doing? Buying toilet tissue and Kleenex or Clorox wipes, all kind of mess. You know them stock people made a fortune off of that. They did, and you got to know that. And all of the people that we love to prop up, you know, your freeway Rick Ross, you know, he's always being interviewed. So how'd you do it? How'd you do? Well, I dressed like a dope fiend and drove a car that was inconspicuous. No, you are a Fed. You work for them folks. You think one person is moving heavy weight and the feds don't know about it? If you think that, you a fool. If you think that, you are a fool. You think that people out here moving heavy weight like that and folks don't know? Man, look, everybody's in on it because of the money that could be made, because of the power that them drugs, when they have over you, going back to the energy thing, going back to the fear mongering thing, going back to the sheep, the herd of the sheep, it's just keeping us like lambs to the slaughter. That's it. They don't like folks questioning, go along with it. Here, we're gonna implement this rule. Don't say nothing. Because see, America, they got it figured out. See, they don't have to whoop us or tell us you can't talk about this or that. No, you can talk about pretty much whatever you want to. Because they stopped all that slaving, you know, whooping folks and doing all that. America don't do that because America got it figured out. What's the best way to enslave somebody? Up here. When they got you up here, they got you. Everything is like hidden. It ain't really hidden very well because they don't have to hide it very well. Because there's always gonna be people who look at, like I said, people like me. Man, you don't know something. Oh, you're an idiot. Blah 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 blah. It's just a case of, you know, the saying, too many chiefs, not enough Indians. Well, I say you can't have more shepherds than sheep. Why have 5 shepherds if you only got 3 sheep? You pretty much have one shepherd for all the sheep and you guide the sheep. You know what I mean? Because it don't take much. Let me know what y'all think. Um, as always, I love to hear y'all's comments. As always, thanks for watching. I'll see y'all on the next one.